This is it, the NAISCC Cup Series Championship race here at Homestead. 16 races have set us up for this one chance, one race to see who's going to be the champion of Season 3 for the NAISCC Cup Series. Welcome all to the race that everyone's been preparing for. Saturday night's NAISCC Cup Series. It is here at Homestead. We got 4 competitors, all challenging to see who's going to get the championship. It's been all about points until tonight's race. Points are out of the way. It's all about who has the best finish of these 4. Starting it all off with Brian Johnson, the man that's been winning practically every race. 15 starts, 7 wins, 10 top 5s, and 10 top 10s. Brian Johnson, the heavy favorite, coming into tonight just based off of his wins, which is the best of everyone. Second driver that's coming into tonight, Zach Hall, the driver that's just coming in with confidence that is up into a higher gear. He's been practicing all week, and he's feeling like the pressure is on. If he gets the championship done here tonight, what relief from Zach Hall, who has 16 starts, 3 wins, 11 top 5s, 13 top 10s. Zach Hall looking just over consistency, one of the most consistent drivers from the start of the season to now. He's got the second most of wins, first in top 5s, first in top 10s. Zach Hall looking like one of the favorites for sure. But if Zach Hall's got to win, he's got to beat the man who's been on top of almost every board this whole entire week during practice. Cedric Hunter, who feels good. He feels like he can challenge Brian Johnson on the short run. He feels like he can challenge Zach Hall on the long run. And right now, Cedric Hunter, certainly one of the drivers that's going to be having his shot to win the championship. He only had 1 win, and that was back at the start of the year at North Wilkesboro, but he's had a total of 7 top 5s, 11 top 10s. Second in top 10s, falls off to 4th in the top 5s, but certainly a driver that has figured out how to win this season and has just had some poor luck on why he hasn't gotten more. All 3 of those drivers from Category 5, the lone driver on his own that doesn't have a teammate that's in the championship, it's the professor. It is Sean Hutzstutler. Sean Hutzstutler coming in with 15 starts, 0 wins, 3 top 5s, 8 top 10s. Based off of those stats, not really looking like a favorite to win the championship, but we call him the professor for a reason. He is someone that could think about the ways, has strategized how to win. Certainly, all the drivers ready here tonight. It's been a build-up. We had the regular season, and we've gone through the playoffs. The playoff picture, we started at Charlotte. Kyle Rochelle winning, locking himself into the round of 8. Then Richmond came around where we had Mark Whitley stealing a win away and pushing some drivers out. We went from just 2 races from 16 drivers down to just 8, where we had Dover, Brian Johnson, immediately locking himself into the championship race here at Homestead. And at Talladega, it was all about math. Where were you on track? Who was going to be making it forward? But it was Mark Whitley that got the win at Talladega. He swept the finale of the round of 16, and the round of 8 was Mark Whitley. Here tonight, I'm looking at the board. I don't see Mark Whitley here, meaning that it is going to be a whole shot on who's going to be getting the win here at Homestead. The championship race is here. It's now, and we are excited to cover it. My name is Sam Dyer. With me is going to be Robert Moyer. And Robert, it's championship racing. It's excitement that's in the air for these drivers, and we cannot wait to get this thing started.
That is right, Sam, man. It is going to be fun to watch, ladies and gentlemen. This has been building up for a week. It's been building up for the whole season. But this past week, drivers have been practicing hard, trying to get ready for this event. And especially them top 4 that is going to run for the championship. It's all now, man. Die or go home. I mean, there's no... You know what I mean? You don't rate... Oh, man, I don't know what to say. I am excited, Sam. I am so excited for this. Hopefully everybody out there is ready for this awesome action racing here at Homestead as we wind up ending here. As Tom Simchek, you know, he's a back-to-back champion here. And unfortunately, Season 3 was not his year in the season. But, you know, he's still a strong competitor. And he's right now sitting P2. On top of them guys, but you know, our top 4, Sam, they're not battling any other drivers out there. It's the best finisher out of the guys that you're driving against in the playoffs of your top 3. So I wouldn't worry about winning the race unless you have to win the race. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, a lot of the drivers, I talked to all 4 of them, asked them a little bit of a questionnaire of, hey, how did you feel about this season? How do you feel coming into this championship race? And for all 4 of them, I think they all felt like if you're going to win this championship, you're most likely going to have to win this race. There's just too much competition from top to bottom. And really, it's been the Category 5 drivers, that of Brian Johnson, Zach Hall, Cedric Hunter, and also Brandon Colley that have been really working so well this season. This is the first season we've seen Category 5 coming in to the NAISCC Cup Series, and they hit it off with a bang, winning at Daytona. And as a whole, I mean, they've won practically 85% of the races that we've ran this season, and still looking to win here tonight. But it is going to be a fun one as we're looking on board, qualifying underway for a little bit less than 4 minutes for these drivers. It's Tom Sinchek we're watching on board for the champ, the winner of Season 1 and Season 2 of the NAISCC Cup Series. And like you noted on, he's had some poor showings and just poor fortunes for this 8 team, and caught up with a lot of drivers making contact with 8, where he will not be racing for the championship. But I mean, certainly one of the drivers that we expected to have a good run, but just has not really shown his potential this season.
Right, and you know what? For Tom, go out with a bang. You're a fast driver. You're a fast car. You practice here on, and you put yourself P2 on practice. Right now, he's sitting in 5th position right now, but we'll see what his second lap time is going to be here. But I would go out. I would go for the win. No holds bar. I mean, tonight is going to be interesting, ladies and gentlemen. I mean, you got drivers that are going out here to win a championship. Then you got drivers coming out here that don't care. They're just going for the win. Points don't matter no more. It's all about go for the win. And I got a funny feeling we're going to see a little bit of aggressive driving out there. I just see it coming. Guys are going to be beating and banging, and man, it's going to be fun to watch. But look at that. Hunter puts himself up on the pole as of right now with a 32.85. And I'm telling you, Sam, that is a driver to watch. Watch Hunter here, because he's very, very, very good. Wow. Well, he's very, very good at Homestead, but wow. Okay.
Hey, just keep on knocking him down.
Wow. I don't know what to say. We got Cat 5 top 3. Wow. Look at that. 0.80, 0.82, 0.85. Oh, wow. This is going to get very interesting, Sam.
Yeah, it really is. And for that for Zach Hall, Brian John, Cedric Hunter, top 3, this was kind of what we were expecting to see. The drivers did have a practice race and a lot of practice throughout the week. Once they got their setup Monday or Tuesday night, the drivers have been just focused on tonight's race since then. And the tale that we were hearing a lot was Brian Johnson, fastest driver on the short run. He is one of the quickest out there. But once we get into the medium to long runs for these drivers, it starts to look like it's a lot more of Zach Hall, Cedric Hunter that are top of the board. But a driver that missed out on a couple of playoff races, was not able to really have the best playoff run he wanted to have. Vincent Sora, who's in 4th place right now, that's a driver I'm also looking my eyes out, as he's tried to be spoiler plenty of times this season. And James Loveland, the driver that we've seen win time after time in the Wednesday night Underdog Racing League here at Homestead, seems to be one of the favorites for that of James Loveland. Yep. I would not be surprised to see that 56 come away and be a spoiler to win instead of one of our championship forwards.
Yep, I agree 100%. I do think that James Loveland is going to be somebody to keep an eye out on. We got Mark Whitley out on YouTube there, Sam. He's taking the night off, he said. He's going to sit back and he's going to watch and, let these guys battle it out. And looks like we got Brandon Colley not in. Okay. Oh, Brandon's out on YouTube, too. He's out here looking and watching, so. Oh, he's rooting for the professor? Wait.
Yeah, I mean, right now, if you'd like to chime in, we do
Wow.
have a poll set up to see who you think is going to be winning the championship here tonight. All
Yes.
4 competitors' names are there. And right now, looking at the poll, I mean, it's looking a lot like, Zach Hall might be the odds on favorite, 83%. There's only just been 6 votes, but you got Hunter, you got Cedric Hunter as well as that of Zach Hall, top of the board. But it's time for us to get ready. It's your Simbox store of qualifying results. If you want more information from the Simbox store, go to their eBay or go on Facebook and look up the Simbox store. Simbox store, you're really pushing our buttons. Thank you so much to Simbox store for joining us. As here is your starting results. Zach Hall, top of the board, with that of Brian Johnson, Cedric Hunter, Vincent Sora, James Loveland, your top 5, with that of Sean Hutsteller, as well as Tom Sinchek, Aaron Kralik, Danny Cochran, and Nick Crawford, finishing out your top 10. That is Thomas Walter, Ryan Ferraro, as well as that Maurice Gilmillion, James Tremmel, Tyler Dengler, as well as Martin Morales, Ryan Bird, and Max Foner, finishing out your 18 drivers that are going to be racing here tonight. As well, in 19th position, you've got that of Trevor Earhart, finishing out these drivers that are logged in. Robert, drivers are lined up, ready to go. Big thanks to all of our sponsors, as well as that of Track Racer. Track Racer, if you are setting up for starting out a sim rig or finishing your sim rig, or even if you just need a wheel, go to Track Racer. It's refined gaming. Also, if you go to the NAISCC Facebook page, you can go find yourself a discount code at Track Racer to get yourself a percentage off. But Robert, those are some of the main sponsors. We'll talk about more later on in the race if we get any lull periods or cautions. But oh boy, it's championship racing time for 165 laps.
Here we go, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you, everybody, for out there tuning in on YouTube. Don't forget to hit that share button to your favorite social media platforms. Helps us grow. We're trying to get to 1K here, Sam. Like we've been pushing for, oh my goodness, a couple months here, but we would like to get to 1K by the end of this year or so. So we do appreciate everybody tuning in. But yeah, thank you to all the proud sponsors of NAISCC Cup Series and just NISS, in general, and Freaky Fast. We will talk about them in later date here in the race because we got so much to talk about. And it's kind of weird not seeing Brandon Colley out there for some reason, but maybe he's taking the night off and crew chiefing
Maybe getting a little bit more eyes and ears out there to help some of these guys out. I mean, some of the drivers, they're able to be in the Discord if they would like. Some drivers and teams like to be in their own Discords during the race. And, for Category 5, they've been on their own Discord throughout the whole entire season, trying to keep everything in-house. But we talked to almost all the Category 5 drivers. It was practically yes, we're teammates. Yes, we want our teammates to win the championship, but I want it. This is for me. Every single one of them having their own game plan. It is not a complete team effort. It is all about winning this championship for yourself. Zach Hall, Brian Johnson, Cedric Hunter, Vincent Sora, James Loveland. Green flag is up in the air, and we're green for the NAIS Championship 250. It's time to crown a champion for Season 3 as they're already trying to go 3 wide for that second position. It's going to be Zach Hall up front, Cedric Hunter, Brian Johnson, Vincent Sora to the outside, already blocking defensive moves. Here comes Hunter on the inside as he's trying to make the pass, but it's still side by side going into turn number 3.
As they come into turn number 3 here, we'll watch Loveland. He's going to run it up high. He's going to slide a little bit. And Tom Simchek, hang on to it.
Oh, no, loose! Cedric Hunter's already loose! He holds on! Off the wall! Able to stay off of it. Same thing goes to the path of drivers further behind. But that's going to give a great opportunity. Brian Johnson, as well as Vincent Sora, going to be making the move on the inside, trying to make the pass. As Zach Hall, he's trying to completely ride the outside wall for a great run on the backstretch.
Wow, what an opening lap. Cedric Hunter's going to fall all the way back to, what we're looking at, 18th position here, Sam. But that's okay. At least he saved the car. I don't think he hit anything. So he should be okay. And he should be able to rebound back as he does got a fast car in that Hello Kitty car as he's moving his way up to 17th position as he's going to get by Ryan Bird there. And he's got to take it easy now, as Brian Johnson and Zach Hall up here, man, they are putting down some laps already. Fastest lap of the race by Brian Johnson of a 33.15 as of right now.
Yeah, and do want to give note, there was also another driver that went sideways coming out of turn 4 before we finished lap 1. That was Champ Tom Senchak. He has got no front bumper, no hood. He's in pit road trying to manually repair himself. Could be already an early exit to season 3 for the 8 machine. They'll be trying to set up for next season for season 4. But up front, Zach Hall trying to find some momentum. Again, we were told Brian Johnson's quick. He can compete for the first 10 to 15 laps. But then after that, we start to see the 28 lose ground, falter. And that's when we see Zach Hall as well as Cedric Hunter. When they were making their moves forward, it's Vincent Sora that's kind of a wild card. We really don't know how well this 15 is going to be challenging. And we know the driver in 4th, James Loveland. He is always a driver to watch out for when we're, 30 to 40 laps into a run. He usually is one of the fastest cars out there.
Yeah, well, I'm going to take note on drivers here, a little bit of what I know from previous broadcasts, Sam, and noting on what you said. I talked to Zach this week. He said he feels he found something that's going to be able to compete against his teammate Brian Johnson. He feels very, very confident. Now, Brian Johnson, like you said, very fast on the short run. We'll see what he does if he changes things on the long run. Hopefully, maybe he can figure something out. But I'm going to go back to James Loveland here, running in 4th position. He's very good at Homestead. Long run, he's not good at Homestead. So I don't know if he figured something out. He says he loves this track. We've seen him race it multiple times in different leagues, and he's always a top 5 driver. But the finishes just don't finish in the top 5 for him. So we'll have to see what he can do here and see if he has anything for these guys, Sam.
And moving up into 5th position, got to be Sean Hutt-Stutler, otherwise known as the Professor, the 94, running in 5th position. I think the biggest thing for Sean has to be stay consistent. That is what put him in the championship 4, has been his consistency, staying out of trouble. He might not get the flashiest finishes of everyone else. He hasn't won this season, and the only driver in our championship 4 that doesn't have a win. But his consistency is what's got him into the championship 4, and that's what's going to probably win him the championship if he stays consistent. And also a little bit of banking on the Category 5 drivers to have some poor luck.
That, and also you got to remember, in the past, now the point systems are different now, but Terry Labonte won a championship without even winning a race. Consistency. So, I mean, Sean put himself in the position. He worked it. He just did the strategy. He got himself into the top 4. And, I mean, now, he, like you said, he's got to battle these Category 5 guys. But he's here. He's got a chance. All he has to do is beat these top 3, and he can win a championship. And I don't even know if he has a championship in his record. I mean, let's stop and think about that, Sam. What drivers have a championship? Now, I know Johnson, Hall, and Hunter from the previous past. Zach Hall does have 1 championship under his belt. Brian Johnson, I do believe, has 1 or 2 under his belt. Cedric Hunter don't have a championship. So this could be a first time for these guys too here. So we'll have to see how that all works out, as their teammate Nick Crawford's back here running in 8th position. And we got Danny here having a great run too in top 10 right now, running in, where's he at? 7th position, as he's battling Aaron here in 6th position. So these 2 guys here are looking pretty good too there, Sam.
Yeah, Danny Cochran at one moment actually was running in 5th place, up 4 positions for himself from where he's qualified back in 9th. So right now for Danny Cochran, it's going to be one of those races where he has to be patient. And Aaron Kralik, such an interesting, just looking at his stats in the early part of the season. He didn't show up for every race, but in the first 4 starts for that of Aaron Kralik, he finished in the top 10. I mean, top 5, top 10 every single time he started. It was around after the 3/4 mark of the season where we started to see the 16 get some poor luck and some poor finishes for himself and was not able to make the playoffs. But Aaron Kralik, still another one of those drivers that excited to see what he's going to show here tonight, running in 6th place position. But as we've been talking about all of our front runners and how they've been doing, Cedric Hunter, the driver that slid, went all the way back practically to last place in 18th position. He has crawled and absolutely scratched at every position he can. Get this Hello Kitty machine up to 11th and just one more spot getting back into the top 10. Now, we know for sure Cedric Hunter's race is not completely over. We do have stage breaks still. Stage 1 is at the end of lap 75, so there's still time for the 13 to get forward, and if he gets the caution at the right time, can still battle for a chance to be for this championship with that stage caution. But luckily, drivers have been playing calm for now, Robert, but we know later in the race, you never know in those final 25 to 30 laps.
Oh, you're absolutely right, Sam. I mean, I'm sitting here as you're talking. I'm just thinking I get excited to do Saturday nights. I'm just very excited for broadcasting Saturday nights and with these guys here. And, we do much appreciate them letting us come aboard here for their season and have a relationship. But just look at this field. After all year, we been calling these guys as races. This whole field is stacked. Every single one of these drivers can win a race.
Yeah, I mean, it is one of the things about this league where we were, baffled by this for the past 3 weeks. It kind of, the field shrunk just a little bit, but that happens with the final race where there's no real points to be grabbed. It's about where you finish in the race. But, I mean, we both were shocked these past 3 weeks seeing the field actually grow and get bigger coming to the end of the season, when it's usually a flip-flop of that, where the league and the drivers in the field shrinks as the playoffs go along. But man, excited to see how this field has been reacting with one another as drivers slipping and sliding where they're at. Cedric Hunter up to 10th, but man, it's really hard to see where you want to be looking at. I mean, up front, you've got that of Brian Johnson, Zach Hall. They're still on top one another. Our top ones are top 4, still within a second of one another. And then back in 11th, back to 16th and 17th, they're 2-3 wide back there. It is still hard racing 16 laps into this race.
Yeah, as we look at James here in that 20 Simbox machine. I do believe that's on there. I don't know. I can't actually see because of my camera angle. But, I mean, he's got a good solid run. I mean, last week, we were at Talladega, and I got to give, just props out to Max Forner here. He had a shot to win it. It came down to the beating and banging, and unfortunately, he missed the cut to get in. Was it a tie? Do I remember? I might be off here.
I do believe it was a tie.
Yeah.
Between that I've seen some of these drivers where they lied for that of Max, and also for that of Sean Hutzstettler.
Okay. So I mean, you got to give Bravo. He had a great season. Unfortunately, he didn't make it into the top 4, but that doesn't take away what he's done all season, Sam. He had a great season. They got the momentum. Look at that. I mean, he's riding right behind Cedric Hunter, one of the fastest guys in Cat 5. So he can take this season and get ready for season number 4. There's a lot of drivers. Tom Simchek can, walk away and say, hey, it is what it is. And RSR team will get ready and we'll go into season 4. So, just because you didn't make the top 4, don't mean you got to prepare yourself for the next season. And a lot of these drivers I think are ready for season number 4 to start. They got the momentum. They know they got the speed. It's all going to determine on the tracks that we run and how it fits into their playing style.
Yeah, and also, I mean, we got to think about in just a couple of weeks, we have been prepping and getting ready for Monday nights. It's the NAISCC Truck Series that we're going to be covering Monday night. And we're expecting to see a lot of newcomers coming in, drivers we've seen from other leagues coming over to have a shot and kind of helping develop into coming into the Cup Series here Saturday nights when we get back to Cup racing. We're expecting sometime in October for the Cup Series come back for season 4, but excitement still ringing just to see who's going to be winning the championship for this season and just building up each and every season moving forward.
Monday night is going to be very interesting, everybody. So please make sure you tune in. Look on Freaky Fast Facebook and YouTube for all the scheduling for that. That league has grown leaps and bounds, and I hope they can keep the number count there. You know what I mean? As you know, people come and go. But bravos to them over there, Danny and all them, that what they put their work in to get a stepping stone to try to get into the Premier Cup Series. I think this league is heading in the right direction, Sam. I mean, I really, really do. I see them going in the right directions. They got cashes. They got prizes. I'm telling you, anything. They got so much. I've been around doing this a long time, Sam, probably as long as you almost. And I've seen leagues come and go, but I'm not bragging on these guys, and I hope that everything stays the same. But they are really looking promising. Like, I don't know if you noticed that, but it's just very interesting sitting back and watching the growth of a league.
Oh, absolutely. It's been a blast to watch and see how this league has grown. I mean, we came in during last season for season 2, and we got to see just how the league has grown from season 2 to season 3, and it grew leaps and bounds. And, I even had friends that we don't cover here on Freaky Fast asking, how do we get into that Saturday league and race with them? And, you got different drivers. They just hear the rumblings of the NAISCC Cup Series, and people just want to join because they know it's something that's building up. Speaking of building up, Our leaders are challenging, and Zach Hall, he is just getting closer and closer to the back bumper. He's challenging Brian Johnson at this point, forcing the 28, run a little bit faster, try to get ahead of me. I'm just going to stay around your back bumper until you make a mistake.
Well, we noted at the beginning of the broadcast, long run, Brian Johnson seems to struggle just a little bit. So when does that happen on that 28? So we're 24 laps into this, Sam. Does it happen on lap 30, 40? When does that happen? When does the long run where it starts affecting Brian Johnson? We don't know. I didn't see practice. We're only going off notes that we were told, about. So you're right. I mean, if you're Zach Hall, pressure him. Just keep riding behind him, save your tires, and just keep pressuring that 28 as, now Zach Hall is going to try the high line here way up to the wall and try something different and see if he can get a momentum coming out, which, he lost a little bit of ground there, Sam, but it looks like he's going to gain it right back. Look at the run he gets coming off of there. But past few laps, Zach Hall has been mirroring what Brian Johnson has been doing. Same line, same throttle, same everything.
Yeah, and it's not a bad thing to just follow behind someone, especially when you're following a driver such as Brian Johnson. He comes in 7 wins this season. When you've got a driver that's been dominating so much, there's no surprise you want to follow who's been the fast driver. And then once, the run goes further along, then try to differentiate and just try to find different lanes that you could find a little bit more speed from. And for Zach Hall, might be also thinking about, the long term of here for stage 1. Drivers came into this race with only 4 sets of tires to work with. The one that they started out with and 3 in pit road, meaning that drivers are going to be putting themselves in a tricky situation because we're expecting drivers to come into pit road and make a pit stop before stage 1 at the end of lap 75. We're aiming around lap 40 might be the window for a lot of these drivers on where they want to come into pit road, or even around lap 50. And around that time, I'm not expecting to see too many drivers taking tires on this first green flag pit stop if we get there, because tires are going to be so important later on in this race when we kind of expect I kind of coined it the Robert 20 laps, the final 20 laps of the race. We have been seeing a lot of cautions coming out in any series we cover here on Freaky Fast Broadcasting. So you want to make sure you've got a set of tires at that moment.
Well, that too, and the final trend here at Freaky Fast with 20 laps to go. I mean, like you said, it don't matter where we're at. I helped broadcast LTEC last night, and guess what? 15 to go, we had a yellow. So, I mean, it just goes wherever I go. So please don't get mad at me. But we're looking at the splits here on lap times, and you can see they're just mirroring each other. I mean, lap after lap here, Sam. Lap 27 for Johnson, a 34.763, 30.8 flat, and Zach's basically right there. So Brian Johnson's just a tick faster than him, but it's going to get very interesting. Now, how many sets of tires do we have in pit road here, sir?
In pit road, only 3. So we're expecting these drivers having to come to pit road at some point during stage 1, most likely in the next 10 to 15 laps. That's when we're expecting drivers coming to pit road to get their service done. But if you take a set of tires now during the middle of stage 1, you're also expected to take a set during the stage 1 break at lap 75, which would only leave you with one set of tires for over 90 to 80 laps, which you want to have an extra set just in case a late caution comes out, especially because, a 19-car field, yes, it's decently large, but the longer the run goes on, the more we're expecting, we've seen this field really spread out, and if you got fresher tires than everyone else around you, you're going to be able to cut your way through this pack quite easily.
Very, very true. So yeah, if I was these guys, I wouldn't take a set. Just keep running what you have here, and just get fuel, no tires, and go back out. But I've been just watching Brian Johnson and James Loveland here. Just very interesting lines that Zach Hall is trying to run here. Every once in a while, in 1 and 2, he goes high. I don't know if he's searching, man. He's searching for something right now.
Yeah, I mean, he's searching for a little bit more speed. Also could be searching for just, putting a little bit more rubber on the outside. So later on in this race, he's got more grip up there to try to send it. You see Vincent Sora right now running in 4th place. He is running right on the high line, and he's not afraid of running close to that outside wall, feeling comfortable where he's at, as he's just cruising up in the middle to high line. But you see 3 and 4. Starts in the middle lane, drops down to the white line, and pushes right up to that outside wall, just trying to find any speed possible right now. And looking at the drivers that are in our top 5, fastest car on track of our top 5 drivers, that of James Loveland in 3rd.
Oh yeah, last lap of 30.69 to everybody's 34.8. So yeah, he's fast, and he's starting to gain on Zach Hall here, slowly but surely. James is coming here.
Biggest problem for James Loveland is he might be able to catch up to that of Zach Hall and to Brian Johnson, but making the pass when you're 30 laps into a run, you're really taking a risk if you're going to be trying to make a pass on anyone you're around, because it means you have to use up a little bit more tire wear, which could cost you longer if the run goes on. So it's kind of a chess match at times when you've got a long run setup car and you've set up for this. Do you even want to take a risk in trying to make a pass once you catch up to the back bumper, or just wait this one out as he is just coming closer and closer each lap, running a 10th or 2 faster is James Loveland, and he is catching up to that back bumper of Zach Hall. Like we touched on the fact, there might be drivers trying to play spoiler here to win at Homestead and to make sure our championship 4 drivers just race to see what position they're in. Right now, of our championship 4, it's Brian Johnson up front, Zach Hall in 2nd. Drop back to 6th, you'll find that of Hut Stuller, and in 9th, it's that of Cedric Hunter. All 4 drivers inside of the top 10, but a big props to Cedric Hunter, who first lap cut out turn number 4, got loose, fell back to 18th place, moved up to 19th now, and soon to be making 2 more passes and put himself into 7th place.
He's working his butt off, and he's got a stage coming up here and a pit stop. So, again, that 13 vehicle, I wouldn't be panicking yet. You don't got to panic. A lot of these guys, the top 4 playoff drivers, you don't have to panic yet anyways. It's when you get down to the end of the race is when you really want to start panicking where positions are. But we're riding along with James Loveland here, and like you said, he's got the sniff of Zach Hall's draft here and Brian Johnson. And he caught these guys, but like you said, catching somebody, no problem. Passing somebody could be a problem. So, and they got a lap car coming up here too. I don't know who that is. That
would be the champion, Tom Sinchak, who has gotten back out on track, but still heavily damaged, underpowered. The 8 just crawling around to finish out this race as we see our top 3 all within a half a second of one another. Let's see the 8 running high, trying to get out of the way into the wall in front of our championship through 2. Oh boy, as they come flying by, that could have been a huge mistake in front of our championship drivers that are running up front.
I don't know if I was in the car, but I would have had to change my diapers or my underwear, man. That would have scared the crap out of me.
That's a clinching moment. Also, would hope that you're wearing some brown suit, some fire suit.
Yeah,
maybe.
I didn't mean to say diapers. Now I sound like a dang freaking baby. I don't know. That's just ignore me. I don't call races much.
Oh man.
Oh man.
Well, luckily they survived. They survived. That's
right.
all that matters.
That's right. Right. Don't. Oh, okay. Can we skip that? I can't. After I said it.
We're on board with Danny Cochran, who's in 5th place, who has gotten by that of Sean Hudstutler. Hudstutler's got to find some more space. He's got to find some more speed, because right now he is not running the pace that is going to win him a championship. But he's getting caught by that of Cedric Hunter, who's going to be on his tailpipes, and there's about a 1.5 second gap between the 94 and the 13 for that 6th place position. But this is all coming down to really Brian Johnson, Zach Hall in this first stage of the race. But we all know once we get to that final stage, it is gloves are off. It's all about who can finish ahead. Right now, it's just information to be grabbed and understood as drivers soon to be thinking about pit road here shortly, as we are on lap 40. Expecting drivers to be coming in here quite soon, most likely in the next 10 to 15 laps.
Sorry about that. Yeah. What are we looking at fuel wise here? I know you just talked about it, and so I got distracted there for a minute there, Sam.
Well, with the way that this stage is broken down, I was expecting anywhere from lap 40 to 55 was our window we were looking for, just because the drivers, they needed to have a little bit of a breather. Some drivers might try to stretch it out to lap 60 if possible. But we are expecting drivers, because stage 1 comes to a close at the end of lap 75, to have to come into pit road at some point during this run. We are staying green, and everyone pretty spaced out from one another, except for our front 3. They're all within 4/10 and are right on top of one another, as well as the battling that's going on back here for 13th, as you got that of Trevor Earhart, Ryan Ferraro, as well as that of Martin Morales, keeping it close.
Yeah, these guys back here, let's not forget about this battle. And there's battling going on the track with other positions for bragging rights and everything. It's just not all about the top 4. So we'll go back here with these guys back here running, like you said. And they've been duking it back and forth for good the last 5 laps or so.
Yeah, it's been a hornet's nest. It's been probably one of the best battling that's going on of side-by-side racing, of that of Ryan Ferraro and Trevor Earhart, just keeping it close, seeing who's going to get that 13th position, and Martin Morales just being so patient, willing to just follow the 25, seeing where he's going to go. You've also got Ryan Bird in 16th, not too far behind of these 3 drivers that are battling with one another. As we were watching the battling going on back here, there was a pass for second. James Loveland has moved up to 2nd place, passing that of Zach Hall.
Oh, wow. That's what I mean. Long run speed. Now, can he do something with it? That's the question. Again, noted on this. We've seen him over at Underdog Racing League. We've seen him be fast. We've seen him in other leagues run here at Homestead. And he's got a long run car. Always has. He just can't finish it, is the problem that he's having.
Will we see? James Loveland, the last time we really saw the 56 have a great run, I think back of the last race of the regular season for the NAISCC Cup Series when we were at New Hampshire, and there was so much drama involved in that because if James Loveland was in a must-win scenario and needed to make sure he was in the top 20 of points, and with 15 laps to go, found himself being spun around on the backstretch at New Hampshire and not able to make it into the playoffs, but certainly now making a statement at the last race of the season for the NAISCC Championship 250. James Loveland putting pressure on that of Brian Brian Johnson, who is just putting on a clinic all season long. It has been dominated by this 28 all season with his 7 wins. But, man, how much would this mean for all of our Championship 4? Been hearing from all of them. They just want this championship so bad. The wins don't matter.
Yeah.
It's just about the championship.
You're right. I mean, this is a very stressful week for these guys, and very stressful race, too. I mean, you got to make sure you do everything that you possibly can to minimize your mistakes. Because any mistake, like you've seen, thank God, Cedric Hunter here bounced back. He's up to P6 now here, Sam. But any little mistake, I mean, can just throw the whole season out. Everything you worked for could be gone in a split second. So, I mean, these guys are also driving very cautious, too. You know, you just got to be very careful.
Yeah, they really do. As our first driver to hit pit road, going to be Trevor Earhart, who's battling for that 13th position. And also now just coming into pit road, the 2 of Danny Cochran, who is coming into pit road in 9th place currently, and it just continues to fall down the list. But pit road starting to get busy, and it's just going to become each and every lap more and more drivers coming into pit road as James Loveland and others continue to duke it back and forth. But the pass for 5th, Cedric Hunter, has done so much work to get him back into 5th place.
Back up in the top 5, and like you said, he's done so much work. He had to be very cautious. He figured out what he did on lap 1, and he probably said, well, crap, I'm not going to do that again. So he learned a lesson really, really fast for the future of this race here, Sam.
Oh, absolutely. Martin Morales is also going to be now coming into pit road as we continue to just see all the drivers scattered around, so spaced out from one another, except for our leaders here. It's that of Brian Johnson, James Loveland, keeping it close. One of the drivers for our Championship 4, and the other driver just going for his own. Brian Johnson, I mean, coming into this race, he felt like this was probably one of his weakest mile-and-a-half courses. Felt like this race was going to be all about him beating out Zach Hall, Cedric Hunter. Speaking of Zach Hall, into pit road is the 32 and the 15 of Vincent Sora going to be in service for themselves. So starting to see drivers coming to pit road. The goal is who's going to be taking tires and who's not. Of the drivers that were further back, such as Danny Cochran, Trevor Earhart, and Martin Morales, all of them took 4 tires on their pit stop. And it's looking like, same for Zach Hall and for Vincent Sora, 4 tires for them as well. This is an interesting call for themselves. I thought for sure a lot of these guys would have gone with just fuel only on this stop to set themselves up for later on in the final stage of this race. But some drivers thinking otherwise. Tires were so important early in the last 8 races here in the NAISCC Cup Series. There's been so many wrecks in the first 20 laps of the drivers that took tires, put them in an advantage. Now it's up in the air. It's James Loveland pulling it into pit road. Oh man, everyone taking 4 tires, it looks like. I think maybe I'm going to have to re-watch Zach Hall's pit stop to see if he just went with 2 tires or not. Interesting call from the 32 though on his pit stop, as I'm going to take a re-look at that. James Loveland though in pit road.
James Loveland hits pit road. Now, when does Brian Johnson decide to come down and hit pit road? He's got to be coming down here very shortly. And as Sam is going to be checking on Zach Hall's pit information here, ladies and gentlemen. But we'll go back here to Thomas and all these guys back here, as he's back here running 10th position right now, and just staying out there, being clean, and doing what he needs to do. But yeah, I mean that strategy call of taking tires, Sam. I mean, I thought I was with you. I thought they wouldn't do that. I thought they would just come in for fuel and that's it. So very interesting.
Rewatching Zach Hall's pit stop, looked like he actually did only go with fuel only, but might have had some damage that he decided to get repaired for that 32 machine. Just because of how long he was sitting in pit road, he'll now be back in 14th position. But looking at the lap time, Zach Hall went with fuel only, did not get fresh rubber for the 32 team.
All right, so that means Vincent Sora back here. He had a 14-second pit stop. Danny had a 14-second pit stop. So I would imagine they took 4 tires as they're going to go right. They're just going to blow by Brian Johnson right now. And I am still shocked. Brian Johnson's still staying out here on lap 55. I mean, he's got to come to pit road here soon.
Yeah, I mean, I think right now for Brian Johnson, he just wants to run out there as much as he can, recognizing, hey, everyone else, they can go out there, they can do whatever they want. But I think for Brian, it might be a call of him staying out as long as possible and then maybe taking, 4 tires. So when he does have to come into pit row, once the stage 1 is over, he'll be having tires and track position for later on in the race. But honestly, it's a coin toss on what we're going to be seeing. Ryan Bird now into pit road getting service done. Everyone is taking tires except for Zach Hall currently right now. And the driver that first came into pit road, Vincent Sora, going to be in 9th place, leading the drivers that have gotten a service so far. Max Foner now into pit road as we continue to watch that of Brian Johnson. And Robert, this is one of those things where, as a commentator, we might have our own strategies on how to do things, but as drivers, though, they've had all week to strategize every certain strategy, every situation that can pop up. They have been thinking about this all week long, and for that of Brian Johnson, he might have been thinking about, hey, if this thing goes green all the way, if I'm running so well that I am running in first place, or if I'm falling back, what strategies am I going to make? And right now, he continues to stay out. Same with the other drivers that are in the top 7. Brian Johnson, Cedric Hunter, Sean Stutler, Nick Crawford, James Tremmel, as well as Maurice Gilmillion and Thomas Walter. Those 7 drivers still have not come into pit road. We're looking on board with Nick Crawford. Nick Crawford, he's been having some pretty solid races these last couple of weeks.
Yeah, that he has. He's a very fast driver. It's just things just don't turn out the way it should for that driver. So hopefully we'll see him in season 4 here. I know his work schedule is up and down, so he'll have probably hit and miss. But yeah, he's a very consistent driver, and he's been very consistent since he joined the league here, knowing that he doesn't have no chance for the playoffs. But you got to give him props on that paint job. I don't know if you know anything about that paint job there, Sam.
I was not informed on his paint job at all.
All right, I'll fill you in real quick, and God bless Nick Crawford and his family, but that is his dad that he lost a couple weeks ago, so unfortunately. So prayers to him and his family, and it's nice to see him out here running and honoring his dad.
That is an incredible scheme that he is running for sure, and what a way to honor his father. Again, prayers out to the family for the loss, but man, that is a great looking scheme that he is running right now for Nick Crawford in the 11.
That is correct. So yes, God bless him and his family. But all right, so he's running really good right now here. He's up to 4th position. He has not made a pit stop. Actually, the top 7 still has not came in the pits, and they can't make 70. Can they make 75 laps on fuel?
I mean, I wasn't given the full window on how far they could go. I was assuming they would only think about possibly splitting this thing up at lap 50. I mean, if anything, maybe 55, but 61 laps now. As Brian Johnson continues to stay out, but he has been caught. Cedric Hunter has caught up to Brian Johnson. They're in extreme save mode for Brian Johnson. He is completely saving fuel for this 28. He might be trying to stretch it all the way out to the end of this stage.
Yeah, his last lap was a 35.64 to Cedric Hunter's 34.97. So that's why Cedric Hunter is catching him. So you're right. I wonder if they're looking at the fuel, and I wonder if he's going to try to push it to the stage. And if he can, that's very, very interesting, as Cedric Hunter is now all over the back of that 28. It's going to look up on the high side to see if he can get a momentum run coming out of 1 and 2 on the backstretch, and he's going to. Brian Johnson has slowed his pace way down.
Yeah, and looking at some of the other drivers that have decided to slow down their pace. Sean Stutler, another one of those drivers that slowed down. Nick Crawford is really backed off his time. All these guys are recognizing, hey, we've got the telemetry and numbers that's telling us we might be able to make it. Brian Johnson, though, pulls into pit road. He cannot make it. He went as far as he could, and deciding to come into pit road now. This is going to be putting him in a very awkward position. But like I said, might be thinking about stretching out as far as possible, then take 4 tires.
Yeah.
So then you can take the positioning over everyone else. Once this stage comes to a close and stage 1 pit stops happen after lap 75, a bunch of mind games going on. But most of the time when we were watching category 5, it was always Brian Johnson that went with the oddball strategies from everyone else. It was the rest of category 5 that kind of went on their own. It's nice to see Cedric Hunter trying to do something similar as he'll come in a lap after seeing his teammate coming into pit road.
Yeah, I mean, we've seen this all year though with Cat 5. They're a team like all the other teams, but they do different strategies. Like they don't stick on team strategy. Brian Johnson has his own little thing. Cedric Hunter's got his own little thing. Zach Hall does his own thing. Brandon Cawley, does his own little thing. If we go and look at all the other teams of RS, they kind of stick together. They have their strategy and they try to do what they can together. So, I mean, it's just very interesting how that team works. I mean, the only thing that we ever seen Category 5 do the same is at a super speedway, Sam, is when you really actually need to do teamwork. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah. Oh, it's absolute. I mean, super speedway racing, if you are not working as one unit, as a team, then you are most likely just throwing any shot of winning at any super speedways. And that's kind of what helped Mark Whitley win at Talladega just a couple of weeks back. But right now on track, it's going to be that of Vincent Soar, James Loveland battling with one another to see who's going to be winning out stage number 1. We got 10 more laps to find out who's going to win stage number 1. The points really don't matter.
Yeah.
But it's more of track position that we're going to be keeping our eyes on. As you see, all 3 of the Category 5 drivers, 7th through 9th, and all of them did not take tires, as well as dropping back to 14th, where we find out now 13th now. Sean Hutzteller, I think there might have been a call to take tires for the 94.
Ah.
I mean, when you're the underdog, you gotta do something.
Yeah, I'm looking here. I'm just trying, because he had a 14.8 pit stop. So, yeah, that is, well, like you said, you gotta gamble. You gotta gamble.
3 wide for a second there. Vincent Soar gonna be forcing the issue there. As these guys, they're non-playoff drivers. They're not part of the championship 4. But Vincent Sora, James Loveland, both of them want to get a win at the end of the season. Both searching for their first win this season. And why not get it at the finale? Get yourself that momentum going into the next season. And Vincent Sora, there have been so many races where he had the speed that Category 5 had and just didn't have the clutch factor to win the race at the end. James Loveland, he's only had like 1 or 2 races where I've really seen the 56 have a shot to win. But these drivers, fresh rubber, they're coming up to lap traffic that are on much older tires. And this could get a little frisky here with the amount of drivers that are on older tires and new tires. You got to slice and dice to get by all these guys.
Yeah, here we go. Got a car going up high, as that's going to be Tyler. Getting out of the way as they come up on the 44. He's going to move up out of the way, and very good racing there from everybody. They got out of the way and said, you know what, I'm good, guys. Here, just move as Vincent now is going to come up here on Nick Crawford. He's going to put him a lap down. Put him a lap down. So the next car that could go a lap down, which I don't think is going to happen within 5 laps, would be James Tremmel here. He's 34 seconds behind right now. They should be able to stay on the lead lap.
You think
maybe not.
He did not take tires, and honestly, all the drivers that did not take tires are from 12th on back, and a driver that's fallen back that's now in 12th, Zach Hall. I'm trying to see exactly if there's damage that he might have picked up while running around this course, but right now the 32 extremely off the pace. and I'm not seeing any damage. He's just running off the pace right now, and if he goes a lap down, this is a worst-case scenario for Zach Hall, which is the furthest driver back. Sean Hutzfeller able to make the pass up to 11th, but he's on fresh rubber, maximizing this rubber to try to move forward, get as many positions as possible. As man, getting closer and closer again. It's at the end of lap 75 when we get the end of stage 1, but if a caution comes out now, we will conclude stage 1 as it's side-by-side racing for the lead. Vincent Sora, James Loveland into turn number 1. They're catching up to Zach Hall, but they're keeping it close between the two front runners.
Well, Zach Hall wants to see this. This battle on side-by-side right now is just slowing these guys down just a little bit. As they battle for the lead right now here, as Vincent Sora and James Loveland are going to go into turn 3 and 4 side-by-side. James is going to, hang on to it there, sir. And he's going to give room, and I do believe Vincent should have the run come. Oh, maybe not. Wow. Very racy lines. The high line is working here, Sam, and the low line is working equally through the track. So this is awesome racing to see right now.
Yeah, and watching these drivers and also seeing a lot of Homestead races, it's really, once the long run kicks in, it seems like that low lane after 20 laps really has a lot of speed to hold on to. But here's the crossover move. Vincent Sora going to be trying to go onto the inside. Coming up to 2 laps to go in stage number 1 here for the NAISCC Championship 250 for the NAISCC Cup Series Championship to see who's going to be winning the championships between 4 drivers. That of Brian Johnson, Zach Hall, Cedric Hunter, and Sean Hutzfeller. But these 2 drivers up front, these cats, James Loveland and Vincent Sora, they've been keeping it close with one another. But James Loveland, he's found himself up front, and his goal, get to that of Zach Hall's back bumper.
Zach Hall already sees this 56 in his mirror and probably saying, oh crap, I gotta go. I know we got one more lap to go, and that's all he needs to do is stay on that lead lap. But this is very shocking on Brian Johnson and Zach Hall. I'm just very astounded. I mean, Zach Hall was very strong at the beginning of this race here, Sam. I mean, he was up there battling Brian Johnson, staying with Brian Johnson. Now he's going to look to go a lap down. He's got to battle it. Oh, this does not look good.
But Zach Hall currently going to be the first car 1 lap down.
Man.
So once the competition caution comes out, once the stage caution comes out at the end of this lap, that's when we'll be seeing Zach Hall become the lucky dog. But it's a worst case scenario in some ways, as he'll have to start at the end of the line as we wait for the yellow. Stage number 1 goes to James Loveland and this 56 team, trying to play a little bit of spoiler here tonight as we're waiting for the 5th car to drive by. There it is, yellow flag in the air. And with 76 laps here, Robert, our first yellow is our stage break caution.
Wow. Great racing by these guys here. We've seen a little bip-blop from Hunter there at the beginning of the race. Tom Simjack unfortunately got loose and got some damage and saved it, didn't bring out a yellow. So yeah, this is the first yellow, stage yellow here for these guys, but this is it. Zach Hall is going to be the lucky dog. He's going to have to start in the back of the field and work his way up through the field. Brian Johnson, it all played out for him. He stays on the lead lap, so very interesting call by a lot of these playoff drivers. But they got fresh tires now. Do this lead pack go down? James Loveland, Vincent Sora, do they go down, make a pit stop, which I imagine they would? Do they get tires, Sam? Which then's going to leave some of these drivers with an extra set compared to the other ones, close to the late break caution. Like Zach Hall likes to say, he hates playing the tire lottery. It's a pain. I don't know. It's a pain for us to call up in the booth on when it comes to tire strategy.
Oh, absolutely. I think a lot of these drivers are going to be coming in, taking tires. I think the only drivers that I'm expecting not to take tires would most likely be Sean Hutzfeller, but that 94 was one of the last cars to really come into pit road. He's going to be probably my control car of drivers that are thinking and not thinking. Everyone else that pitted earlier around lap 50 to 60 marker, they're taking tires. As you're already seeing all the drivers lifting up, they're getting those left sides changed, getting some right side chains, and also Sean Hutzfeller getting his set removed. So this is just showing a lot of drivers still having themselves, some of the drivers here are only going to be having one more set to work with for these final 85 laps.
With that being said, ladies and gentlemen, we are going to quick run to a commercial here as we hit stage number 1, first yellow, as these guys pace around. So we want to give a shout out to iRacing and Maconi Setup Shop. Make sure you go check them out over at MaconiSetup.com. And you can also use Freaky Fast FFB10 to get 10% off of your purchases over there at Maconi Setup Shop. But we'll be right back here after this quick commercial.
want to be the best, you can't settle for the rest. There's a reason that Makoni Setup Shop is trusted by more virtual and real-world tracks and companies than any other setup shop in iRacing. With partners such as Stafford Motor Speedway, the Nashville Fairgrounds Speedway, Five Flag Speedway, Speed 51, and more. When you want something done right, you go to the experts at Makoni Setup Shop.
With setups available for most series on both asphalt and dirt, built by a team of professional builders consisting of some of the top talents on the service, Makoni Setup Shop LLC has what you need to hit the track with confidence. Head over to MakoniSetupShop.com and learn why Makoni Setup Shop is the official setup shop of Richmond Raceway Esports and is partnered with some of the largest names in virtual and real racing.
And remember, at Makoni Setup Shop, there are setups, but your victories.
Well, this is it. It is the NAISCC Cup Series Championship race here at Homestead for Season 3. As drivers have been racing around, we finished up stage number 1. Stage 2, the conclusion is now underway. And the drivers that are on the move, you've got our championship driver, Brian Johnson, now up to 3rd place. We saw there on a commercial, 3 of our top 4, 3 wide for a moment, as it was Brian Johnson, Cedric Hunter, and Sean Huttstutler that were all working towards one another. Zach Hall going to be back in 9th. He had to actually start at the end of the line because of getting the lucky dog position, as you see that of Trevor Earhart dropping back, losing ground to one another. My name is Sam Zire. With me is Robert Moyer, covering all the action as we're watching the middle of the pack, but further up you see the 2 making the dash to the inside, getting by that of Vincent Sora. The pass for the lead as our front 3 keeping it close and don't want to look back too far. Our stage 1 winner, that is James Loveland, he's up to 4th, just lingering behind with Cedric Hunter in 5th.
Got a good battle going up here for the top 5 right now here, Sam, and with Danny, Vincent Sora, Brian Johnson running there in 3rd position, and you got in 4th position, whoops, stupid camera, James Loveland there in 4th position, and then you got Cedric Hunter running in 5th position. So very interesting strategies going right now as they are single file now. We'll have to see how this all plays out. Very interesting race going on right now as Brian Johnson now is all over Vincent Sora, and he's got to look down into turn 1 here, and turn 1 and 2. Gonna try to do the low line, but Vincent's gonna have the momentum coming off the high side, and bingo, takes that position back over.
Gonna be holding on for 2nd place is Vincent Sora, but what a tale it's been. Brian Johnson been dominating our championship 4 of leading this race primarily. Cedric Hunter, he's been on a rebound. Lap 1 out of turn 4, got loose, stayed off the inside wall, but fell all the way back to 18th position. And now, after so much hard work, finds himself up to 4th is Cedric Hunter. Sean Huttstutler's been the underdog coming into this race, running in 7th position, and he has been hovering around that 5th to 8th place position all race long. Is the 94 team. Sean Huttstutler, Zach Hall at the end of stage 1 on the white flat, on the last lap, found himself going a lap down, getting a lucky dog position, but he's going to climb his way through the field and try to challenge up front. But as we're on board with 13 of Cedric Hunter, just watching our front 3 battling it back and forth. Robert, championship race, it's not about the points, it's where you finish at the end and whoever is the furthest ahead of our championship 4. But man, has it been a real tale of who could beat that of Brian Johnson.
Actually, yeah, I mean, who can beat Brian Johnson? But it's been a roller coaster ride for these top 4, up in the top 5, then back into the top 10. Then they're back up in the stand. You know what I mean? It's been up and down for these drivers. So really the only car that's been really steady out of the top 4 is Brian Johnson.
Yeah, I mean, he's been up front, but this is one of the few times we've seen Brian Johnson in lap traffic where we've seen the dirty air is making it so hard to make any type of passes when you're on someone's back bumper, and that's why we're seeing different drivers try that outside lane to find some more speed later into a run. But once you're 20 laps into a stint for these drivers under green, that inside line is the most dominant lane to be in, and that outside groove, it only works for maybe a lap or so before those tires are really too heated up on the right side where you're losing ground. But Cedric Hunter in 4th position. He's trying to run down Brian Johnson and battle for this championship. But Danny Cochran, a non-championship 4 driver, but one of the best runs we're seeing right now from the 2 up front, leading the race at Homestead. Why not try to go for a win here? We've got so many drivers that have shown themselves to be non-playoff drivers that are trying to play spoiler and get their win to finish off the regular season.
That's right. I mean, why not? Go out with a bang. I mean, what do you got to lose? You know, checkers or records now for a lot of these drivers. I mean, that's just a mindset. If I was not a playoff driver, I'm going out there for the win. I don't care what happens with anything else. I'm going out there for the win, and I'm going to do everything I possibly can to get that win, but also do it clean and stay out of the top 4. Playoff drivers, contention on letting them battle for the win here, as we watch Brian Johnson take the high side here. And, you know, you're talking about dirty air here, Sam. I mean, let's go to Brian Johnson just real quick. He's back here running behind Vincent Sora. How much do you push? Do you push it? Do you really need to push it? I mean, you really don't got to race against Vincent. I mean, just ride behind him. There's no rush to pass him. As long as you got the 3 behind you, you're good to go.
I mean, there's a little bit of concern that builds up when you're thinking about, hey, you got Cedric Hunter right on your back bumper. If something goes wrong, you've got the 13 as well as the 94, just a couple of positions back from these guys. So, you know, our championship 4 also running strong. Right now, Zach Hall, the furthest back currently, as he's about 2.5 seconds back from that of Brian Johnson and Cedric Hunter. A lot of work needs to be made by this 32 team, but up front, yeah, I mean, you could say, you know, if you've got a crew chief or a spotter telling you, hey, be patient, be smooth, just wait this thing out, be patient, and get a run like that, finding the perfect spot, trying to run that white line. Saw a slight mistake possibly from Vincent Sora, giving some space, and here comes the 28. Massive run for himself, but just not enough speed. He's going to fall back in line and try once again into turn 3.
He's going to try it as we got Cedric Hunter. He's diving himself on the high side here, as it looks like Brian Johnson is going to get by Vincent Sora there for 2nd position. And Cedric Hunter, he's going to say, open up the door. I am going to try it too. And he's going to look down in turn 1 and 2 underneath Vincent Sora. And he says, hey, teammate, you ain't leaving my sights. Get back here. I'm going to chase you down with my kitty.
Yeah, I mean, right now, the Hello Kitty machine of Cedric Hunter, goal, just stay on the back bumper. I mean, we were hearing from a lot of the drivers from Category 5. They felt like Brian Johnson might have been the weakest link of that of Zach Hall and Cedric Hunter coming into this race based off all the practice that they had. But obviously, from the practice that happened on Thursday to now, Brian Johnson has found some speed for the long run. He has been looking mighty quick. But this is the first time we've really seen Cedric Hunter be up in our top 5, challenging in a later run, because got to remember, we haven't really gotten to see a stint from the 13 yet. Being with these front runners, he's been challenging himself throughout going through the field because of that first lap incident for the 13, and he's right there. He's on the side-by-side door banging practically, as we're going to see a massive surge on the front stretch.
Yeah, that high line, you can just keep the RPMs up and the motor revved all the way high, and just look at the launch he gets running up there. Now, he's not saving tires by doing that. He's burning off a little bit more tires up there because the preferred line to save tires is the low line. But watch this massive run he gets coming out of 2. Just gone.
Gone, clear. He could come down and he'll do so. Going to be clearing the 28. Cedric Hunter up to 2nd, and now going to be leading the train that stays on the inside. The biggest question at this point, who's going to feel risky enough to try what we just saw the 13 do run high, run as fast as you can, and be willing to burn off some extra rubber here early in this stint.
Well, that also now puts Cedric Hunter as the champ. Right now, he's leading over the top of the guys that he's battling. So right now, if this race would end, the 13 Hello Kitty would be your championship driver. But this ain't over yet, by far. But you're right. I mean, you can see him. He's working his way down now using that low line. So that low line is not the passing line. The high line is. Now, like you said, how long do you stay up there? How much rubber do you want to use up? As you can see, Vincent Soar now, he's going to go up to the high side. He says, I need to gain a little bit more momentum and see if he can do something up there and get a run to get around James Loveland. That they are battling back here for 4th and 5th position right now.
And it looks like for that, Vincent Soar, he'll make that pass cleanly and now going to be fully secured in 4th place. But man, what's a surge we've been seeing and battling of these drivers that are up front. All the drivers right now that are in the top 7 doing a fabulous job keeping themselves close. But we fall back here to watching the battle for 8th and for 9th. It's Aaron Kralik and also Zach Hall. Hall, he's caught up to the back bumper of this lead pack, and he'll now try to cut his way through this field. Right now, the fastest car on track is that 32 of Zach Hall, but he's back in 8th. He's got a lot of drivers to get by, and he might have to move up to the high side to make these passes work. Yeah,
let's see if he still has some tires left over. And we talked earlier in the week, like I said, Sam, and he actually asked me on Wednesday night what car skin to run. The gold, the silver one here that he is running tonight, or bring out the Tide machine, because everybody knows I love Darrell Waltrip's old schemes. And we talked about it, and we decided to bring out this silver freaky fast car here.
I'm surprised he didn't go with the Tide. I mean, he's had a lot of good luck. I mean, it's been a kind of a he's had good luck and bad luck with that scheme.
Yeah.
Whenever I think of Zach running the Tide scheme, that's usually where I see a lot of good luck. But I think we've seen here on Freaky Fast Broadcasting, if you might have some good luck with the scheme early on, doesn't mean you'll finish out the race with that luck that you were seeing in the first 3 quarters of a run.
Very true, very true. As now he's going to get under Sean here, the professor. Going to look like he's going to try to take over, and he should take over 7th position here as they battle side by side. And it looks like he's going to be able to clear him on the low line. So Zach Hall is coming, guys. I mean, he is starting to move up here as now he's got the 25 in sight for him, running in that bright lime green hair shampoo car.
Yeah, that being Trevor Earhart in the 25. Just, I don't think when Trevor Earhart, when he switched to this lime green, it threw us off the first time. But man, has it been easy to point out that 25 every single time we look at this field? We're like, hey, where's the lime machine? There he is, absolutely crushing it. Is that of Trevor Earhart, which, coming into this season, I had a lot of high hopes for this 25 team. I thought they were going to be one of the drivers battling in the top 5, top 10 week after week, and just some poor luck hit that of Trevor in the 25 car, but still hunting and hounding, doing a great job, just running currently in 7th, and Zach Hall up to 6th. As we're going to move up to the lead, it's Cedric Hunter. He found some space, and now up to the lead, it's the 13.
Oh boy, as Tyler's going to get out of the way in that 22, going down the front stretch here across start-finish line on lap 108 of 165. What are we looking at for pit stops here, Sam? I know we noted on it a little bit earlier, but let's go back through again here. What are we looking at?
Yeah, for a lot of these drivers, they're most likely going to be feeling like stretching it as far as possible. But around lap 140 to 130, it's going to be for the drivers that are stretching their fuel as far as they could possibly go. For drivers that are going with an undercut, and as soon as they can pit, that would be now. If they wanted to come into pit road, they can make it from this point on. But a lot of the drivers, I think we're looking at around lap 130 to 145 is the window to make your final pit stop of the night.
There you go, ladies and gentlemen. So we're going to be looking for that as Brian Johnson and Danny are going to battle side by side coming out of turn 2. And that high line is still strong. If you have the tires, you'll be able to keep up with these guys here. The only place that you're going to lose ground a little bit here is going through 3 and 4, but Danny is holding pretty strong there on the high side. But I do believe Brian Johnson does clear him, but will not move up and keeps that top line opened up there for Danny to take it down into turn 1 and 2.
Yeah, I mean, looking at how these drivers are running right now, I wouldn't be surprised to see someone try to make that outside line work, because you're seeing Zach Hall in the corner just trying to make a pass. He was all the way back in 9th, had to start in the back half of the field because he got the lucky duck position. But Zach Hall now into the top 5, side by side with Vincent Sora, trying to make the pass for 4th.
I'm telling you, he's found speed. You know, he was running slow there, but don't keep that team out there of Zach Hall. He's going to find, almost into Vincent Sora there on the left rear there. They got side by side very close. I don't know if they touched or not there, Sam.
I don't think they touched, but they certainly made it a little scary for everyone that was involved with that incident for running on the back bumper of that of Danny Cochran, seeing Zach Hall and the other drivers on how they're racing. But you can see side by side, it's Loveland, Sora still hunting and hounding is that 15 machine, but he just doesn't have the grip that he used to have, not really having enough speed to fully clear the drivers. But Vincent Sora trying to stay inside of the top 10 as Zach Hall, he's got to the quarter panel and now trying to make the pass to move up into 3rd.
And it looks like you see him just run as they're going to get side by side, coming out, going down the backstretch. Look at this screenshot. Oh, wow, look at that. Side by side racing.
Yeah, and the biggest thing there is the fact that, Danny Cochran, he's getting the run on the backstretch, but he's also getting on the back quarter panel of the 32, which is allowing a little bit of side drafting contact, though.
No!
Gonna be made for sure out of turn number 4. Doesn't look like it's too bad, but for the 2 and the 32, there was contact coming out of turn 4 there.
Well, they do got a fast repair, and I don't think Zach Hall used his fast repair yet. I don't believe. Did he or did he not? No, I think he saved it for and got his damage. But yeah, he's got a little bit of damage there, but not too much that I think it's gonna hurt.
Just a little bit. The drivers that have used their fast repair so far this race, Danny Cochran, who's actually in 3rd, who made the contact with Zach Hall. The 2 machine has used the fast repair already this race, so he's got to be a little bit concerned on what contact he gets. And then also falling back to 9th, Eric Kraylake has used the fast repair. Those are all the drivers that have used the fast repair so far this race. Everyone else still has it. It's Zach Hall. Zach Hall up to 3rd. And the Professor up to 5th, the 94, making a surge here late in this run.
I was just ready to say, our top 4 playoff drivers are in the top 4. This is something else. I mean, these guys we got James Loveland, Vincent Sora, 3 wide, Danny Cochran coming out of turn 3. Oh, hang on, ladies and gentlemen. Man, these guys are battling it.
They're holding on, they're fighting strong, and right now, still side by side is the battle for 5th. As now Vincent Sora finally has gone to the inside lane as Danny Cochran stays all the way up to the outside wall. He's going to try to get a run here to at least hold on for 6th place, but they're going to try 3 wide once again, possibly. No, Lovely going to be following right behind the 15. But like you noted, our top 4, all of the championship 4 drivers, but they're spread out so far from one another. The biggest key to win this race might come from who's going to make the best pit stop as we're coming closer and closer.
You took the words right out of my mouth there, buddy. It's going to come down to not messing up on pit stops, on their pit stop. They say it all the time. Pit stops win and lose races. Entering pit road, exiting pit road, get into your pit stop, getting your 4 tires as fast as you can, 2 cans of Sunoco fuel. You got to be on your dime, and I noted on this earlier, I'm starting to get a little hyped here as we're winding down here with this championship race here, Sam, but these guys do not want to mess up. They got to do everything right. Any little mistake will lose that championship for them, as we got our top 4 in the top 4 with a half a second of Brian Johnson behind Cedric Hunter. We got Zach Hall a second behind Hunter, and then we got Sean 2 seconds behind. So, wow, I don't know what to say. I hope everybody's enjoying the show here tonight. Here at Freaky Fast Broadcasting with the NAISCC Cup Series. We do much appreciate them and everybody tuning in out there.
Yeah, and thank you so much for everyone that tunes in, everyone that's voted, seeing who's going to win. It has been a blast all season long to cover these drivers, and we know it is going to get, especially what Zach Hall loves to say, spicy up in here once we get into pit road, which we're expecting these drivers get into pit road around lap 130 to 145. That's the window for these drivers. Side-by-side action. Currently, this is the battle that's going on for 8th that gets single-filed up. The drivers seem to be calming down and just getting patient until they need to come into pit road. Top 4, they are our championship 4. It's Cedric Hunter, Brian Johnson, Zach Hall, Sean Hutstutler, and Danny Cochran as we watch the battle for the drivers that are trying to stay in the top 5. It's James Loveland still hunting and hounding as they're also catching up to the professor of the 94, but we're going to quickly step aside. When we come back, we're going to have the conclusion of tonight's race. Who's going to win the NAISCC Cup Series Championship? Between our top 4, whoever finishes ahead, they get the championship. Thank you for joining us on Freaky Fast Broadcasting. We'll be right back for the conclusion of your championship race here at Homestead.
want to be the best, you can't settle for the rest. There's a reason that Makoni Setup Shop is trusted by more virtual and real-world tracks and companies than any other setup shop in iRacing. With partners such as Stafford Motor Speedway, the Nashville Fairgrounds Speedway, Five Flag Speedway, Speed 51, and more. When you want something done right, you go to the experts at Makoni Setup Shop.
With setups available for most series on both asphalt and dirt, built by a team of professional builders consisting of some of the top talents on the service, Makoni Setup Shop LLC has what you need to hit the track with confidence. Head over to MakoniSetupShop.com and learn why Makoni Setup Shop is the official setup shop of Richmond Raceway Esports and is partnered with some of the largest names in virtual and real racing.
And remember, at Makoni Setup Shop, there are setups, but your victories.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the NAISCC Cup Series for the NAISCC Cup Series Championship 250, as we are going to be crowning our Season 3 champion. Thompson, Jack, our back-to-back champ, could not make it to our Championship 4, so we are going to have a brand new champion in this series and in this league, and we are excited to be calling it right now. We're going to set the table for you. For that of Cedric Hunter, he did the undercut. He is going to be about 2 seconds ahead of Zach Hall, who Hall pitted about a lap later. Then you've got that of Sean Hutstetler that pitted just 2 laps after our front 2 did, and he's now currently been passed by Brian Johnson. Brian Johnson stayed out the longest out of everyone else, but he has a difference of 9 seconds that he needs to catch up to Cedric Hunter here. And just 36 laps, soon to be 35 laps to go. My name is Sam Dyer. With me is Robert Moyer to do production as well, and with commentary. Robert, we were talking about it under commercial. The math just wasn't adding up on why Brian was staying out as long as he was, but luckily there is enough laps that he might be able to run down our front drivers.
Oh, that's going to be the thing. Sam. He's got five laps fresher tires than Hunter and all these basically top 4 guys. He's 8 seconds behind. He is catching them lap per lap. That just comes down to the question is does he have enough of time to make up the difference with 5 extra, lap fresher tires? Does that make a huge difference? I mean, we'll have to see because he is cutting it down. He's down to 7. 7.8, 7.7, 7.6. I mean, he's coming, and he ran the fastest lap of the race of a 32.92.
Yeah, and right now for that is Cedric Hunter, Zach Hall, as well as Brian Johnson. Those front 3 of the championship drivers, they still have an extra set left in this race because they only took their first set of tires at the stage 1 break. The drivers only had 3 sets to work with here tonight in pit road, which kind of put that of Sean Hutstetler in a position where he needed to make a pit stop. And honestly, he had to make the pit stop in the middle of stage 1, had to use a set, put him to where he did not have an extra set late in this race. The 94, he is out of sets of tires to utilize. He is left with what he's got to run it to the end. But Robert, we're seeing it on the charts. These last 3, we'll see on this 4th lap, on what the difference is between Cedric Hunter and that of Brian Johnson, who runs in 5th place. Yes, he's gaining, but you also can kind of see on the trends, the amount of time that he's gaining is starting to dwindle down lap after lap. That means he's going to start to plateau, and when he starts plateauing, he might be only about 2 to 3 seconds away from Cedric Hunter. He might have stayed out just a little bit too long.
It's what I'm afraid of. I got a funny feeling that might be what's gonna happen here, Sam. I mean, we'll keep an eye on this here, as you can see the lap history here. As last lap there for Hunter was a 33.787. We'll see when Brian Johnson crosses the line. He's catching him, but does he have enough of time? Now the question comes here is what is Zach Hall doing? Does Zach Hall have enough to catch Cedric Hunter. As you can see on the lap time tickers here, he is faster than Cedric Hunter by a tenth or two here per lap.
Yeah, we'll see this time how much he's really gaining right now.
3 tenths.
Wow, 3 tenths. Lap traffic for the 13. Possibly could be a factor on why, lap traffic might be a factor if we keep on moving forward. But Zach Hall is in a complete just go, trying to catch up to Cedric Hunter. But you got to be careful. If you are being too aggressive too early into a run with these tires, it can hurt you overall on this stint, where a driver that's being a lot more consistent, conservative, they're over time for a 40-lap stint could actually be running faster over that time, but might not have the fastest lap of the race.
Yeah, I mean, we're watching here Hunter and Zach Hall here, and yeah, Zach Hall is faster than Cedric Hunter. The problem I do believe that could come up with this here is what's going to happen when these tires plateau. He's going to catch him, then he's going to get the sniff of that dirty air, and he's going to have to navigate that. And I don't know if he's going to have enough to be able to even pass Cedric Hunter if they're running basically the same lap time.
Yeah, it's going to be one of those things where you got to pick and choose. Do you want to use your bumper or not if you get close enough to someone? Zach Hall now with under a second and just continues to gain lap after lap, as well as that of Brian Johnson. But Johnson, that last time by, was only about 4 tenths faster than what Cedric Hunter was putting down, and only 3 tenths faster than what Zach Hall was putting down. So
not enough.
These drivers are certainly close, but for Brian Johnson, he's still 3.7 seconds back from our leader, and he's still gaining. But at the pace we're seeing, and if Brian Johnson continues this pace, by the time that Zach Hall catches up to Cedric Hunter, Brian Johnson's going to be about a second and a half back from our front two. But also, Thomas Walter might be the last car on track, 2 laps down, but he wants to get himself back, only 1 lap down, as the laps continue to tick away, coming to 26 laps to go when they cross the line. Robert, lap traffic, that also could be a factor on why we're going to be seeing time being gained or lost here for our front two.
Yeah, because that puts Zach Hall back into the dirty air, something he don't want to see. So basically, yeah, you want to see Thomas there just get by Cedric Hunter, and it looks like he's going to be able to get one of his laps back. He probably has better tires than everybody else, so they're not battling here. Cedric Hunter's going to let him go by in 3 and 4 here, run up on the high side, up near the wall. Kyle Larson line there, and Thomas is going to pass, and now we're right back to where we started.
Yeah, but I mean, the time, though, that was gained between that lap 137 and 138 was massive. Over a half a second was gained during that time. And now the difference between our front two is a half a second between themselves. But the more and more we touch on our front two, we've also got to keep in mind the car that is just a little dot behind Zach Hall is Brian Johnson. Johnson less than 2 seconds away from Zach Hall, and he's a little bit less than 2.5 seconds now from our leader. The 28 is flying, and he is not slowing down. We thought maybe it would plateau on the times. It has not done that at all during this run. Brian Johnson's got plenty of time at this point, coming up to 2 seconds now off from our leader as we're coming up to 23 laps to go.
Oh my God. If everybody stay tuned for the ending, 24 laps to go. This is going to get very, very interesting.
Absolutely. I mean, yeah, I was looking at the stats, and I love just reading the stats and where they're at, but I love the fact when you can look at the ratings, who really was the top driver in those positions. And, coming into this race, the most wins, most definitely was that of Brian Johnson with 7. Second with the most wins was Zach Hall with 3. But when you look at the consistency of top 5s, the top 10s, it was all Zach Hall who was number 1 with the most top 5s and top 10s. 11 top 5s for that of Zach Hall, 13 top 10s for Zach Hall as well. And then for Brian Johnson, he was second in the top 5s with 10 top 5s. And what's incredible, all 10 of those top 5s, they all counted as top 10s as well. If Brian Johnson was going to finish the race in 5th place or better. That was as the best finishes he was aiming for, because he never finished outside of the top 10. I mean, outside of the top 5, unless he was outside of the top 10. So it was either an all-in for this 28 team, or it was an all-out of a loss. And now, Brian Johnson, he is within a second of our front 2.
Well, here we go. Like you said, man, this is going to get very interesting. I just want to let everybody know out there, if you're watching, the poll will end on lap number 10. So if you have not voted on YouTube, vote who you think's going to win the championship. As of right now, let's look at the stats. Looks like Zach Hall is still winning by 50%. Everybody thinks Zach Hall is going to win this championship. So got 10 more laps to, put that poll out there and see what you guys think. But I really, I am excited for this, Sam. It's coming blocking. Zach Hall has to block him. Teammate or not, block him. You cannot let him by.
It is for a championship. The goal, hope that Category 5 wins the championship, but you are racing for yourself for this time. It's no longer who can have the most championship wins. It's about who can win the championship. And right now, Cedric Hunter, he's got a mirror full of side-by-side racing. Zach Hall doing his best. Well, got to be careful. Might be a little bit of pinching, hard racing, but Robert, we're also within 20 laps. That means we are close to possibly thinking about drivers might be bringing out a yellow here late. And that what a way to spice things up for these drivers. Zach Hall on the outside still holding strong. But Johnson, got to be careful. He might drift up, and he will just a little bit, pushing the 23 up into the outside, not into the wall, but luckily holding on. And it's Zach Hall, even on the older tires that he's got, still defending over that of Brian Johnson.
I told you. Here we go. They don't care anymore. This is for the championship. 18 laps to go. Cedric Hunter loves to see this. This is what he wants. He wants these two guys back here to battle. But let's not forget about the professor. He might be 10 seconds behind. But if something happens out here with these guys, yeah, he doesn't have a set of tires. But at least he'll bring them back up and try to battle, these guys, even though tire strategy is not going to work out for the professor.
I mean, Robert, we got to think back earlier in the playoffs, finishing out the round of 16. We were at Richmond, where we had a lot of Category 5 drivers up front. Points were on the line to see who was going to move on to the top, to the round of 8. And it was hard contact in racing from that of Cedric Hunter and Brian Johnson. Mark Whitley was the driver that ultimately won that race after some hard contact. Oh, holding on. What a save from the 32.
Oh, my God. This is getting crazy. That's going to open up the door to Brian Johnson. I don't think Zach Hall has anything for him. We're going to see if he can try to hold the high line. I know they're just running these tires off now, Sam. It's go time, as Zach Hall's going to look on the high side. Does he clear him? I don't know. No, he does not. As they go down in turn 3 and 4, what a battle side by side. Zach Hall is going to pinch off Brian Johnson. And, oh my God, Cedric Hunter is loving this.
Cedric Hunter, all he needs to do is just stay consistent, run his lines, let the other two battle and use up their tires as the laps continue to tick on. 15 laps to go as these drivers are was our top 4, as Loveland has now made the pass over Sean Hutzstutler. Hutzstutler continues to fall back, his tires completely shot. But of the drivers that are up front, continuing, Cedric Hunter, Zach Hall, Brian Johnson. From Category 5 Esport, they've come in and absolutely ran the house here for the NAISCC Cup Series. They won at Daytona, and they just kept on winning every single race, it felt like, this season. And it's been these 3 drivers from Category 5 that have been winning them. Brian Johnson with the most with 7, Zach Hall with 3, And Cedric Hunter comes in with only one win this season. It was at the beginning of the season, really, at North Wilkesboro, and we saw the 13 winning short track style. But there's been so many races that we've seen Cedric Hunter possibly get a win, almost getting a win, but just unfortunate luck would have strike this Hello Kitty machine. Well, right now, from the 13 laps to go, it's Cedric Hunter leading the way with Zach Hall somehow still in second place.
I don't know what to say right now. He's holding off Brian Johnson, which is not helping Brian Johnson with them 5 fresh tires. That's going to go away really, really fast as Brian Johnson is just beating and banging that 32 down the backstretch.
I mean, there has been a little bit of a wrestle for the Category 5 team since that Richmond race. And you know, this is their time. Still sliding it is the 32. Zach Hall coming out of turn 4. He's got to clean that up, especially for these final 12 laps. If he gets a good run on that of Cedric Hunter, he cannot make that sliding move because that burns off his time. It's scrubbing off speed, and he is loose. The 32 looking a little out of control. Those tires are toasted. They're extremely warm, which means you are practically on ice skates out there on track. And this 32 is doing his best. Zach Hall on the outside still, and Brian Johnson, he's got to be so fed up on the fact that he cannot get by Hall.
Oh, I think he's going to get him this time. And he does because Zach Hall got loose, like you said. His tires are warm. They're heated, slipping and sliding on ice. And unfortunately, Brian Johnson is going to get by Zach Hall, unfortunately. Now he's going to set sail on his teammate, Cedric Hunter, with 11 laps to go. Now, what does Cedric Hunter do if Brian Johnson catches him? That could help Zach Hall. Oh, my goodness gracious. This is going to get crazy.
Lap traffic once again. We saw Thomas Walter with fresher rubber pass by all the Category 5 drivers. Well, he is going to get loose, stays low, and gets out of the way, giving our Championship 3 a shot to continue to race on. But you know, for Sean Hutztetler back in 5th place, he is banking on something to go awry. 10 laps to go for us to crown a champion for the NAISCC Cup Series Season 3. We're going to have a new champ. Who's going to be? Is it going to be Cedric Hunter, Brian Johnson, Zach Hall, or will the underdog, Sean Hutztetler in 5th, get the championship as they come out of turn number 4, coming to 9 laps to go? Robert, I don't know if Brian Johnson has any more rubber on that 28 team anymore just because of how hard Zach Hall was challenging him.
That's what I was just thinking. I'm watching the lap times here, and if Cedric Hunter doesn't mess up, he has to hit his markings every lap to keep Brian Johnson behind, because if he makes one little mistake, he's going to have that 28 car all over him. As you can see, Brian Johnson gets the run entering. He doesn't have it exiting. So he's got a good pace entering, but that exiting speed there, Sam, is not working out so well for him, as we got 8 laps to go here for season number 3 here with NAISCC Cup Series here. If you're looking for a league, make sure you check these guys out. They also got a Monday night starting here at Freaky Fast here in September. It's going to be very interesting in the truck series. Big house field that they got going on there on Monday nights here at Freaky Fast Broadcasting. We go live with them at 9 o'clock, so make sure you tune in for that if you don't join. But if you join them, man, make sure you tell them that you heard it from Freaky Fast Broadcasting. But back to the action here. Brian Johnson's got his draft, and Brian Johnson's just got to run the crap out of his car now. I mean, these guys are not holding anything back. Tires or not, Sam, they got to go.
Yeah, I mean, right now it's an understanding for all of the Category 5 drivers in the top 3. They've got an extra set of tires if needed, if a yellow comes out. Which, speaking of yellow, if a yellow comes out now, we're going to be going into a 2-lap shootout in regulation. But if we run another lap or 2, we're going into overtime if a late caution comes out. It's Cedric Hunter, Brian Johnson, Zach Hall. Hall starting to lose ground. He's now a half a second back from that of Cedric Hunter. But Brian Johnson, if he starts to get a little bit sideways, get side by side, starts to challenge the 13, it easily can bring Hall back into the mix here.
Oh, yeah, just to get this guy, ladies and gentlemen, last lap. Cedric Hunter, Brian Johnson, Zach Hall all ran a 34.89. All 3 of them, same lap time. So that's not going to work. that's just not gonna work. You gotta figure you got to pick up a 10th here, a 10th there with 5 laps to go. I think Zach Hall burned off Brian Johnson's 5 extra lap tires. I don't think he has anything for Cedric Hunter. I really don't.
Yeah, I mean, it's one of those things where you have to find some type of speed somewhere. 5 laps to go, coming to 4 laps to go.
And he is now.
And he's trying the high line, trying something different. This is
Has
exactly what Cedric Hunter was doing to make sure that he could get up front earlier in this race. They worked on it. Vincent Sora worked on that outside line. We knew it was going to be utilized at some point during this race, and it's Brian Johnson. He's feel like he's cooled off his tires just enough, and now he's going to run that Kyle Larson line, get as close to the outside wall, try to get a rocket ship type of momentum, but it's just not working out. He's getting just as close, if not he's losing time every single moment he goes to the outside.
Yeah, I mean, did Zach Hall back off a little bit, save some of his tires, cool them off with 4 laps to go, actually 3 laps to go here. So, I mean, holy mackerel, I'm telling you, that high line's not working. It's just not working like it was on fresh tires. You could do it up there for maybe 5-10 laps there, Sam, and you could just rocket ship off the top, but you can see he's actually losing ground to Cedric Hunter. He is now 3/10 behind. About 2/10 behind here, and now Brian Johnson says, well, that top line did not work for 2 laps. I got to go back down to the low line.
Yeah, he tried to go back into the low line, trying to kind of do a little bit of a deking move on that at Cedric Hunter, but it did not work out. 2 laps to go to crown a champion, and for that of Brian Johnson, he might be just trapped where he's at. I don't think there's anything left unless a late caution comes out as they're on the backstretch, Robert. Championship window is certainly there for a lot of these guys. They were hoping for maybe some more hard racing, but man, has it been clean, green, and great racing all season long. It's been a fun one to watch, but out of 4, coming to the white flag, it's your freaky fast broadcasting white flag to see who we're crowning as the champion here for the NAISCC Championship 250. Cedric Hunter with 2/10 over that of Brian Johnson. He might have been one of the drivers, if you look at the stats from Category 5, that you weren't sure was going to win the championship. But all week long, it was the rumbling of Cedric Hunter. He's looking fast. He's fast in the short run. He's fast in the long run. He might have slid, dropped back to last out of turn 4 on lap 1, but out of turn 4 on lap 165. Cedric Hunter is a champion for Season 3 of the NAISCC Cup Series. Oh my goodness, they did it. They survived, and we only had 1 caution, and it was our stage 1.
Congratulations. I said at the beginning of the broadcast, and I've been saying it all week, watch that 13. He's very, very good here at Homestead. He loves this track, but wow. Congratulations to Cedric Hunter. He finally gets a championship. Finally. After all these years, that 13 machine in the Hello Kitty car can put on a decal there, Sam, that says, I am the Season 3 2021 NAISCC Cup Series Championship.
And let's put a crown on that Hello Kitty, on that hood, because Cedric Hunter has done it. He gets to burn it down, and man, what a relief it has to be for this 13 team. All season long, been under the radar. I mean, coming into the playoffs, I think that was one of the notes I wrote down for the 13. Under the radar for most of the season for the Category 5 team, but you knew he had speed each and every week, and it finally all came together when it really mattered the most here at Homestead to get the championship and a win. That was something we touched on at the beginning of the broadcast of, there were spoilers there, but a lot of the Championship 4 felt like if you were going to win the championship, you needed to win the race at Homestead. And it happened for the 13. Cedric Hunter gets to do a Polish lap and get to go back around. But man, Robert, what a season and what a race it was here tonight.
Amen on that, man. What a season as he does his Polish lap, goes around backwards. Congratulations again to that 13. Cedric Hunter finally becoming a champion here for the first time, and also here with NAISCC Cup Series. So with that being said, Please stay tuned for our post-race interviews here with the top 3 of the championship driver and Brian Johnson, Zach Hall, as we go quick to commercial break and he burns it down, but we will be right back.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to Freaky Fast Broadcasting as your NAISCC Cup Series Season 3 has come to a close. The champion, that of Cedric Hunter, with a dazzling performance of rebounding for himself. Before we talk to the championship winner, we're going to be dropping to that of Brian Johnson and Zach Hall for a moment. But first, we'll bring in that of Zach Hall up in the booth. Zach, in this 32 team, Zach Hall, what a run for yourself, but coming up short for the championship and the victory. Man, just tell us how your night was from your point of view.
It's a gut wrenching one right there, man. Kind of shot myself in the foot tonight. I just really pushed too hard on that first. I mean, I didn't feel like I was pushing too hard, but just the dirty air, you underestimate it riding behind someone like Brian like that. And I felt like if I ever just get out front, and I was trying my best, I'd have been fine. But I just, wanted to save a set of tires when we came down because just we had so many limited sets that I didn't want to, lose this all to like a tire gamble or tire lottery. It kind of sucks that it was only 3 sets of tires there, but you know what, it is what it is. So I had to play that strategy and try to save on just in case we had a caution because you don't want to lose it that way, like I said. Came down, I'd already killed the right front, and I just went a lap down right as the stage went. The caution came out, and I had to get the lucky dog. And started to tell him along this line, I had to drive really far back. And, to get where I got, I was pretty happy. I got all the way there, but just the dirty air and just ran out of time, just tire at that point. So did the best I could, man. That's the hardest I think I've ever drove. So I got to give my teammates credit, man. They're so tough to beat.
Yeah, I mean, for us up at the booth, I think the most thrilling part was we knew that Brian Johnson had the fresher tires. He flew up to you guys, but you had to work so hard to hold off Brian to make sure that he didn't pass you. I mean, that battle was incredible. How was it trying to hold off a machine that just seemed like he was ready to pass you at any moment, but you just kept on fending off each and every lap?
Yeah, it was tough because I was trying to set Cedric up. I was just gotten him. I think 5 laps before Brian got to us, and I was trying to set Cedric up and get some type of run. I just felt like I had something there at the end still. And as soon as me and Brian started racing side by side, I had to fight him hard. I mean, I fought him hard as I fought anybody all night. I raced a lot of people really hard tonight, so I got to give them a shout out for. I know it probably wasn't the nicest for me how I side drafted him tonight, but you got to do what you got to do in these situations to get every position. And I raced him really hard there. And man, if he wouldn't have been there, I think I'd had a better shot because just that kind of took down my rhythm trying to hold him off and get by Cedric. And, you just want to hold on to what you can. And I just lost it coming out of 4 at one time, and he got the run. And at that point, I was like, all right, I'm going to let these two battle and see if they create some fireworks like they did at Richmond, and maybe I'll come through the victor. So I just try to stay close as possible. But, man, to take third after this season, it's special to be able to be that close. Those guys have been whooping my butts for the past couple of years now. And to be that close to them there at a mile and a half, especially a track where I struggle, I feel like I put a lot of work in this week, and I think it showed. So maybe next season, if I keep putting that work in, it'll be each week, and I can compete for more wins than just 3.
Yeah, I mean, Zach, an incredible season for yourself. And before we let you go, the floor is yours for any shout outs.
Yeah, first off, shout out to my teammates, man. Tough dudes to beat, man. I can't credit them enough for how good they were. Cedric and Brian both. I wish the race would have been earlier in the week because I had their number going throughout the week. So unfortunately, I think they learned a little bit off of me and how to make the tires last longer. So I got to give them credit for working on it all week. So congrats to Cedric again. That's awesome to see him win a championship. Like I said, either way, either of my teammates, that's cool to see. So and shout out to Sean too. He ran a great race. He was there all the way down to the end. I mean, I think we were 1, 2, 3, 4 there before we all hit the pit stop there at the end. So what a race from him also. And shout out to you guys in the booth for all y'all done this season. It's been so fun to watch each and every race. It's kind of rejuvenated my iRacing career, like in the driver's seat, just going back and watching some of these races and seeing like, man, I can actually keep up with these guys. So I always gotta give y'all a shout out for putting the races out there for us. And last but not least, all the drivers in the league here, they opened us with with wide open arms and brought us into their league. And man, we didn't make the greatest impression, I think, at first. Put my foot in my mouth, but man, it's been a good season to get to know these guys, and there's a great group of guys here. Like, I just cannot commend them enough. If you're out there and you're looking for a league to run on Saturday nights, come here and race, man, because they got a great group of guys here, and it's always a pleasure. And I just can't wait for next season. This one's got me fired up, guys. That's for sure. So I'm ready to get to the next one.
That's Zach Hall in the 32 machine, getting himself a third place finish, third for the championship. And what a special season it was, just coming up a little bit short. Congratulations on your finish there, Zach, and good luck next season.
Thank you, guys.
And after Zach in second, he finally got by Zach Hall, but wasn't able to really finish out the run, coming up just shy. It's going to be that of Brian Johnson. Brian, what a season for yourself, coming up a position shy. I mean, what else could you have done there in those final 20 laps? I mean, you look like you were just a rocket ship, but then you hit the stopper of Zach Hall.
Yeah, well, it wasn't really Zach. I mean, it's just the dirty air. I mean, last 20 laps, I really couldn't have done anything different. I should have just undercut Cedric and Zach. I didn't think Cedric was going to pit that early. So I was planning on coming in maybe a lap or two after he had pitted, because I wanted the undercut because I knew that clean air was going to be key, and tire wear really wasn't going to matter a whole lot. But when he pitted and then Zach pitted the lap after him, I was like, well, the only thing I can do is try what I've done before and go 5, 6, 7 laps further, and then just hope that when I catch him, I haven't burned up too much right front getting there. And I feel like I did pretty good on the tire wear catching them, but just that dirty air is just way, way, way too strong. Zach, he had to race me hard, and he did, and I don't blame him for that. And but I was able to get around him, but then just had nothing for Cedric by the time I got to him. So, and I'm pretty terrible up on the top line, and I tried it, and that didn't work. And so after I tried that and that didn't work, I was like, okay, yeah, I'm going to finish second here. So, couldn't put the cherry on top to the end of the season as good as it was. It's kind of like having a bowl of ice cream without the chocolate syrup and the sprinkles. So it's good, but it's still a little disappointing.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. This was a special season for at least us in the booth to watch. You were just always there, putting on a great show and winning in most of the races. I mean, just overall looking at your season, I know you wanted the championship. That's what everyone wanted, but I mean, what about this season was the most special for you, though?
Well, yeah, I mean that's the thing is I may not be at the top of the leaderboard when it comes to championship standings, but when it comes to laps led and races won, I'm at the top there. So, that's pretty good. And the only thing, that's why the playoffs are the way they are is that even the guy that's at the top of every other list, it's not a guarantee that he's going to win the last one. So, that's the beauty of it. And yeah, it's a good season. So hopefully, maybe next season we can do the same thing. With the schedule came out a couple weeks ago or last week at some point, and looked at that, and it's going to be a little bit more challenging for me, I think, to have the same amount of success next season as I did this season. But only time will tell.
That is for sure. Well, Brian, before we let you go, the floor is yours for any shout outs.
Yeah, I just got to shout out Cedric Hunter. He's always been good at Homestead, and he drove a flawless race minus maybe the first couple laps, but great rebound from him, and congrats to him, and then congrats to Zach as well, because he drove almost a flawless race as well, and then Huffstetler as well. He was right there. If it if it wasn't for us three, or if the three of us wrecked each other trying to win it, he would have been right there. So got to shout out him and everybody else in the league, especially the lap cars tonight. They were really good and really understood what was going on. So got to thank them and you guys for putting on a great show as always. I hope everybody out there enjoyed watching it, because I know that was one heck of a show we had tonight. So yeah, that's pretty much it.
That's Brian Johnson, going to be finishing second in the championship, second on track. And with the most wins, just came up a little bit shy. Congratulations, Brian, on where you finished, and good luck next season.
Thank you, sir.
And finally, we get to bring in the man that worked all night long, didn't start out the way that he wanted coming out of turn 4 on lap 1, and dropped all the way back to 18th. It took him all race to get up to where he's at, but he comes across the line after 165 laps. Cedric Hunter, your NAISCC Cup Series champion for Season 3. Congratulations, Cedric Hunter.
Thank you so much, man. It sounds really good to hear. Thank you so much. That was such a hard-fought race. First of all, I want to say awesome job to the top 4. They did a really good job tonight, gave me a run for my money. That was a crazy race.
Yeah, I mean, Cedric, all season long, you won at North Wilkesboro, but you kind of been just under the radar for most of the season. We get to the playoffs, and you're starting to show a little bit more muscle, and we then see that it's Homestead, and everyone had their eyes on you as one of the favorites to win this thing. I mean, how was it having that pressure on you, knowing that you were probably one of the favorites to win the championship?
Surprisingly, I actually didn't feel it too much. I know like people in the past few weeks have kind of been saying my name for Homestead and that I was one of the favorites, just because like it's been a track that I've been really good at over the years, but for some reason the last maybe year or two I've been really bad here, and I haven't figured it out until tonight. And then doing the practice race and stuff like that on Thursday, and then just practicing throughout the week. If I'm being honest, like Zach was the class of the field. Like it was just, he had the short run, the long run pace, like he had it all. So in my mind coming into this, like I didn't feel like an underdog, but I definitely didn't feel like the favorite. So definitely put less pressure off of me. I know Zach was kind of nervous coming in, so I know he was probably feeling it. But it's good. I got my mojo back at this track, so it feels awesome. And then to be a champion, I mean, it's been a while. And then I'm happy to win the race. I got the one win in North Wilkesboro at the beginning of the season, and then it's been really up and down the rest of the season from there. Been in contention to win a couple races with like 5 laps to go, and then it's just something would happen, kind of stripping that win away from me. So it feels good. I was really nervous coming down to it because I know Zach and Brian had fresher tires than me, and they were hounding me. I know they're not happy with dirty air and stuff like that, but tonight, dirty air is what saved me. I usually don't like dirty air, but thank you so much, iRacing. Yeah, it's everything worked out. I mean, other than that one huge mistake on lap 1 or 2, I pretty much ran a flawless race, and so I'm really happy.
Well, Cedric, you got to cut your way through the field winning this race, but man, I know winning the championship is a nice feeling and probably one of the high moments of this season, but man, just touch on this season. How was it for you just overall? I mean, this had to feel awesome to rebound the way that you have throughout this whole entire season.
Absolutely. Racing this season was awesome. First season with these guys at NAISCC. I appreciate them for letting me come here and race with them. Not only myself, but with our team. I know we kind of after Daytona, the binoculars were kind of or the eyes were all up on us as a team, kind of as the favorite or the guys to beat for the championship. So they keep the pressure on. You definitely, you go into a race and you're still nervous just because you know that everyone in the field is gunning out for you on a week in and week out basis. It's pretty crazy, but I mean, they're super competitive. They're really fun to race with. A really great group of guys. Again, season up and down, but thankfully we peaked just at the perfect time and was able to capture that championship. So that is awesome. The wins and stuff like that, like I only have now 2 wins, which is nice. Obviously not as much as Brian, but the championship means so much more than the wins. So I, will take the 2 wins instead of the possible 5 I could have had, and I will take that championship and celebrate all night long.
For sure. But before we let you go, Cedric, the floor is yours for any shout outs.
Thanks, man. First, I want to shout you guys out. You guys always, I say this every single time you guys interview me, but you guys put on a really good show. I appreciate everything you guys do. Again, thank you to all the drivers in the league, admins, and just everyone that's in this league for allowing myself and my teammates to come and race here. It's really been an honor. I want to thank my teammates, Zach Hall, Brian Johnson, Brandon Colley, Nick Crawford, and anybody else in the backgrounds that's helped me throughout the season, as well as all the fans out there. I know that you guys have a really good following of guys that tune in on a weekly basis, so I appreciate everyone that supports not only the league, but also Freaky Fast. Shout out also to everyone on my stream, twitch.tv/Bazinga_Hunter. And I am super excited for next season. So I believe that is in about 4 weeks from now. It should be a really good one. Hopefully this league can have 2 champs.
We hope for that. That is Cedric Hunter, your Season 3 NAISCC Cup Series champion. Congratulations, Cedric Hunter. And what a season it has been, as we cannot believe how much it continues to go on. But Cedric, good luck next season. We'll see if you can defend and become a champ as well.
Awesome, man. Thank you so much.
Well, Robert, what a season. What a race. We now know our champion. Cedric Hunter in the 13 Hello Kitty machine gets the win, gets the championship, and it was certainly a long season where we didn't know who was going to get it done, but once the playoffs came around, it was gone in a blink of an eye, it felt like. I mean, we started with 16, we dropped down to 8, we had our final 4, and at one moment, we had all of our final 4 in all top 4 positions. But man, what a race it's been, as here's our Simbox store race results, unofficial results for where they're at, but it's going to be that of Cedric Hunter in the lead with Brian Johnson, Zach Hall, James Loveland, and Sean Hudsettler in your top 5. 4 of our top 5 are championship for that race. with that of Aaron Kralik, that of Trevor Earhart, as well as Ryan Ferraro, Martin Morales, and James Tremmel going to be finishing out your top 10. The rest of the board will continue to surge through, but Robert, what a season it was.
You're right. Man, Sam, well, it's a shame that it comes to an end, but good things come to an end here. Season 3 is coming to an end, but we will have a Season 4 coming up. Congratulations to Cedric Hunter for getting his championship, but what a season we had here. I can't stress enough to all the drivers out there that we talk to week in and week out here with NAISCC Cup. They've been such a great people to work with. So we do appreciate that and say thank you to them. But I mean, Cedric Hunter's going to be celebrating here for a little bit here, Sam, man, because this is something that is hard to do to win a championship. So congratulations to them and congratulations to him on getting the win and his team for being strong all season. But I'm telling you what, Season 4, Cat 5 is going to be back, but I'm telling you what, there's going to be other drivers out there that's going to have their, they're going to be headhunters, and they're going to say, you know what, you're not going to dominate like you did Season 3. We see how it is. We got to pick up our pace. Some teams are going to get very, very fast, and some teams are just going to have to work on their speed week in and week out, to battle with these top teams. But it's going to be fun, but I think we are what? When's Season 4 open up? And when is it again? Sorry.
I believe it's in like 4 or 5 weeks. It's
4
going to be starting
weeks,
back up.
something like that. In October, I do believe it is, something like
Yeah.
that. So, yeah, so make sure you tune in when we go back live there in October. But you can still catch some of these drivers with their NAISCC Truck Series Monday night at 8:50 when we go live with them. You'll see some of these drivers over there racing. Plus, you'll see some new drivers coming in over there. Right now, I think they got 39 people signed up to start that season. So hopefully we see a big field and we keep a big field for that on Monday nights. But before I sign off here and we get going here, I just wanted to say, hey, Sam, do you realize that, I don't know if you paid attention, do you know who's going to be racing over there on Monday night?
On Monday night, I have not checked to see who's on that roster completely.
Tanner Johnson's joining on over there.
Ooh.
Yeah. So I'm telling you, ladies and gentlemen, in a couple weeks when we go live and start that season with their trucks, make sure you tune in because there is very, very, very fast drivers out there stacked from top to bottom. And it's going to be very interesting to see how that championship run unfolds there on Monday night. But with that being said, congratulations to everybody else here that tuned in here at Freaking Fast every Saturday night. We do much appreciate the support as Sam Dyer and me here from Homestead, Miami. We're going to get ready to sign off. Congratulations to Cedric Hunter again. One more time, you get the champion. Enjoy it. Enjoy your prize. And we'll see you in Season 4. But until then, we'll catch everybody tomorrow night when we go live at 7:50 with, man, I'm just having a brain fart, with SRU, Sim Racing Unleashed, as we'll be live tomorrow at 7:50 with them. So make sure you tune in to there. So, but until then, me and Sam are going to sign off. Have a great weekend. We'll catch you in the next stream. Until then, God bless everybody. We love you all. Peace out.